Hello there YouTube, this is Siddles Mids back at it again with another Arcanium run. Sorry for the long hiatus, as per usual. This time I've been playing a lot of Inkbound, which shouldn't be much of a surprise given my last video. Anyways, pretty excited about that game. Looking forward to getting back into this though, although admittedly I've been playing Inkbound for like 2 weeks, so I'm probably big dumb now, so that's no excuse. Feel free to put, bad strimmer down in the chat below. Okay, this is actually Deathblow. That's pretty good. I was afraid that I keep getting Deathblow and Death Sentences, like icons mixed up in my head. We've got Arcane Anomaly, which is a little bit rough. It's not exactly Moze-Bjorn-Leon's best, ultimate. Like, you can build into it and it can still become pretty good. But it's obviously nowhere near as good as, like, say, Evocation or even Arcane Tempest is just generally good. The best thing about Arcane Overload is that it is cheaper. It is a 7... What am I trying to say? It is a 7 Fury cost as opposed to an 8. The problem is that until you get very specific cards, the fact that it doubles only locked Overload means that most of the time it's not even really going to become relevant until the late game, whereas everything else helps in the early game as well. Not to mention Moze-Bjorn has a lot of troubles actually getting his ultimate off, especially once you start using Overload, because it doesn't give you Fury until you have Arcanist Staff, I believe it is. And then we also have Leon here with the AoE shield power. So, definitely liking our setup here. I like Bjorn with power, and generally it's very hard to give Bjorn power unless you use artifacts and stuff like that, because not a lot of people are able to get power besides Leon. Or if you have the one minion that probably nobody ever uses. Alright, trying to think of where we're going to take this team. A lot of our damage is blue. Not sure that that actually matters. We could still take ourselves to Scorched Lands, try and get ourselves like a decent card for Bjorn or Moze-Bjorn, because they're our slowest heroes right now. It's going to be pretty suffer trying to get them through anything. On that note, we could always take ourselves to Uzir because it's a slower match. We get golds that we can roll shops, all that kind of stuff. But the problem is that if we end up getting, well, I mean, we have access to execute. Actually, we could probably hang around in Uzir. The one place I don't think is going to help us very much would be Anador. It is notable because if we can get cloth shoulders on Bjorn, he becomes absolutely ridiculous. But other than that, basically, I see Anador as poison, draw, that sort of stuff, and I don't necessarily think that those are things that this team needs. Leon could use some draw if we actually end up going into a... God, what am I trying to say? If we end up going into a bolster setup, him getting some free draw would be very great. And he would generally want to do draw anyways. We'd be able to get a lot of output on turns with him with that, but we also don't know exactly where we're going to end up here, so... I think Scorched Land's very good. I believe this also has access to the artifacts. The dash that gives... Do I really know nothing about this game anymore? This does have a dash. Yep. Fury. This has access to Fury. It has access to Lost Medallion. Spellweaver's Gloves can even become insane. It's got a lot of good commons for us. So that's kind of why I'm a little bit... I really don't know what to do with all of this. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to go Scorched Lands. Might end up regretting it later. Luminous Lance off the bat is pretty damn good. Being able to get Cleanse right away is pretty good. Focus Beam, 9 purple damage forward on a retain on Moze-Bjorn is absolutely incredible. Is it better than a Luminous Lance though? That's the question. Being able to hit 16 this early in the game, we'll be able to get it once every 3 turns, which means that Leon's doing approximately... Right now he's doing on average around 6 to 5 damage a turn. And this will be able to kick him up to on one turn, he's able to do 16, which is currently half of a normal fight's health. Allows us to turn 3 very easily. As far as the combo, I don't think that it actually exists on this team. It would just mainly be for the raw damage, would be the reason why we would take it. Otherwise, Moze-Bjorn having access to our retained damage is also pretty good, because if we run into a turn where like we have block cards but we don't really want to block, then we're able to save up Overload, which we can then use on Focus Beam and have like a better power turn that turn. It's very tough. I think we almost have to go with Luminous Lance for the raw damage though. What do we got here? 30 enemies for an heirloom. I can dig that. Then tiles and Uzir. We're all the way over here in the corner. We could get over into Uzir though. I don't think that that's something that couldn't happen. Uzir might be where we want our other relics too. I don't know. We have stuff like Shakir Shield. You know what? Yeah, I'm fine with all this. A loot cache this early would be pretty dang good. I think we can go for that. Let's remember to equip this. We're going to take less pummels on Leon due to the fact that Bjorn's probably, I don't know. It's all really weird. Maybe we take a Crusade Strike? That's a weird idea too. We'll try this. All these enemies are purple, which we kind of knew going into here, but it kind of hurts when you look at Moze-Bjorn and it looks like this. Okay. So how's everybody else doing? We've got Steam Next Fest going on today. So a lot of games are throwing out their little demos that people can take a look. Are there any games out of Steam Next Fest that you guys are particularly interested in? Feel free to leave that down in the comments. Guess I'll heal one off that. Solar Fissure Leon with the power shield is very interesting. I kind of like that, but Hamstring Plus is also very interesting. Allows Bjorn to heal himself pretty well against targets that aren't purple, because our life leech is currently purple. And we are, of course, in Scorched Lands where most enemies are going to be purple. So we'd like to get another life leech for him in order to allow him to life leech better. This is a good step into that. It also helps us turn 2 faster, which is going to be important if we run into any of the goblin looters. I'm just absolutely perplexed by Solar Fissure, though. So we start at 8, which we can generally get on turn 3. But if we get this, we get it on turn 2 instead, which means that we have the power for turn 3. That in combination with Hamstring would be amazing, but I think we'll take this for now and just hope that we see Solar Flare later. As for this, I kind of want to keep Reckless Blow right now. Let's get rid of an Axe Cut. Reason I want to keep Reckless Blow is because it does its job. It does damage. Okay, we're immune to 1 stun. Spellweaver's Gloves is interesting. Nether Orb, Bjorn getting access to a source of healing with Tome of Infinity sounds pretty good. Otherwise, it's a little too late for me to just say that Spellweaver's Gloves is amazing. Mainly because of the fact that, well, nobody has anything particularly great. Like, we definitely don't want to get bogged up with a bunch of magic follies. We don't want to have a bunch of runic shells. Arcane Missile is okay. A bunch of Reckless Blows is pretty silly, but probably don't want that. I could see maybe wanting it for Hamstring, but that's not always going to be the first card in our hand. Because, well, we could potentially go through our whole deck before seeing it. And so then we got like an extra Pommel Strike or an extra Reckless Blow. And then by the time that we add that Hamstring, it's not really going to do much of anything. If we had 2 really good cards in Bjorn's deck, I could see it. I don't know, maybe that's still the play. But right now, I'm concerned about his sustains. We're going to go ahead and take this Tome of Infinity. Every time we take 3 turns, he heals 4, which is nice, because that's exactly 1 Reckless Blow. I'm going to take a look over here. There's that Goblin Looter I was talking about. This is a rough turn. I think it looks something like this, though. Pretty sure it looks something like that. Little wasteful on the AP, but we should pretty much be fine at this point. Moze-Bjorn is feeling really bad with all of this purple damage. I think what we're going to do here is something along the lines of boop, boop, swoop. I think we can deal with this. We probably could have gone without 1 Reckless Blow there if we actually would have ulted on Leon. Probably should have paid attention to that. And this is sort of like my main problem with getting Arcane Overload on Moze-Bjorn is you're more inclined to take cards that aren't necessarily like great, just so that you can actually get more locked overload in your deck, but this is not the one that we're looking for. This is like, it's comparable to his starter card in a sense, where that blocks for 5, gives you a locked overload. This will give you 2 resilience, so it's good against multi-strike attacks, but that's really it. And let me just tell you, you don't get hit by multi-strike attacks a lot, and I mean, we are heroes, right? So we could run into a couple of goblin looters that would multi-strike them a lot. But okay, now we got to have this on the same turn. No. Just no. I would much rather just block for an extra 3 than reduce every hit by 2, which would technically come out the same, but this only happens 1 out of every 3 turns. If they had something sort of like an alternate deck for each character, and this was another option that you could take besides his block, then I could consider that, but it's kind of hard for me to take 3 of these just to replace those. I don't know. He can become a primary tank with this, but I think there's better ways to gain resilience than this card right here. Maybe that's why it's a common. That's kind of weird because most characters' commons are actually some of their best cards. Kind of messed up how that is. You having Buckshot isn't necessarily a bad thing. I could swing with that. Having access to Dispel is good. It's a Retain Dispel, blue damage. Actually, yeah, we should probably take this, put it on Moze-Bjorn. Get rid of one of these bad boys. Get this event. I will absolutely spend 100 gold for 2 essence. How did you know? I really want this forge, but I'm not quite sure about us in an elite battle. This is probably the easiest it's going to be, though. So just hope that it's not goblin looters. Always punished. And they're just reeling off the bat. Look at that. Reduce damage as much as we possibly can. Well, that felt like garbage. We've got to kill this middle guy before he just starts absolutely clobbering everybody. This helps. Luminous Lance helps. And I think we're going to eat all this damage just to make sure that this man dies. Seems about right. That's actually very big for us, considering we just spent 100. We actually do very good at dealing damage. So this is, I think, what we're going to do. I would almost rather Bjorn not take any damage, and I think that looks like... See, the problem is that this means that Moze-Bjorn is going to take a crap ton of damage, which I think we have to be okay with. That's going to have to be good enough. Probably honestly should have kept that, but we didn't. We got an amount of money. Luminous Lance again is incredible. 10 damage. You need to be brought down below 12 in order for this to execute, which means we got to do something like this. That's good stuff. Fight's now pretty much under control. Unfortunately, we have a lot of hex out here and not really the means of which to do anything about it. That was relatively good considering. 2 Goblin Looters was exactly what we didn't want to see, and we still somehow managed to survive. Blackblood Vial is interesting. I really like the idea. It's just weird. Because 6 shield is a lot, especially at this point in the game. But who do you put that on? You don't put it on Bjorn, because he actually needs to deal damage. Otherwise, he's absolutely useless. He does have the vulnerable, but that doesn't really help him out. You could put this on Moze-Bjorn, but then he does literally no damage, and he becomes like the tank, which is weird because Bjorn wants to take hits, theoretically speaking, and Leon wants to take hits. It's very weird. Leon could take it, but then his Crusader Strikes, which is one of his best starting cards, does nothing. Luminous Lance wouldn't feel it that much, but yeah, it's just odd with this team because no one in particular really wants to eat this. Like, generally speaking, you have somebody like Shinzo or like Leon is supposed to be your primary tank. Maybe he still is our primary tank and he can get away with this. 10 shield goes a long way. It's just, it's going to cause some growing pains right now. But apply Hex whenever an enemy hits you is going to do absolutely nothing for us unless we also manage to get something like Voodoo Talisman, which gives you crit on Hex. In which case that would be huge. Medusa's Gaze doing absolutely nothing on our first turn. Like, we could do that on... I'm not sure there's anybody I'd be willing to do that on, actually. Not in this setup. That's very good in setups where you're either like already winning or you're extremely defensive and people can afford to actually block for other people, which is not what we're currently at. Like, we've got 2 Taunters. We could do that for Moze-Bjorn, and generally speaking, this would be a good one for him. Except, what are we going to do? We're going to immediately get Arcane Overload. It's not good. I think we'll take the Black Blood Vial. We can't do it now, but we'll hold on to it. I mean, that's something that we could do. Gain 1 toughness is also incredibly good. It's between Recollect just so that we can actually have a frickin' ultimate, or... Like, this is still technically not the one that we would want, but this being free is at least something. And with Moze-Bjorn's generally high-cost deck, this actually, like, does a lot for him. I'm thinking it's this, but I also feel like grabbing Obscurity. Like, just having it is a great idea. Because it blocks so much. We'll grab Recollect, though. Okay, what do we need? Leon's not going Bolster because, well, theoretically speaking, he shouldn't be having people aim at him. Maybe. I don't think that this is a party heal. Maybe it's supposed to be now that Moze-Bjorn is low. We had to take all those hits just to get access to this this forge here. I feel like Bjorn or Moze-Bjorn wants AP. Bjorn because he can't use all of his attacks, or he can't use 2 life leeches, or like position and like do something. And Moze-Bjorn for obvious reasons. I feel like if we give Moze-Bjorn AP though, all he's going to do is throw around more purple damage and do like no damage to anything. Which is kind of my problem here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go... I'm choosing to believe in the turtle. One of the, I guess, most recurring like questions I get though is like how to make Moze-Bjorn feel good, which is understandable because he's, how do I say this, very particular, where he starts out probably one of the slowest characters in the game, which I guess might even be thematic because of the fact that he's, you know, a turtle. But it's just very rough playing him because of the fact that he only does stuff every other turn. But the problem is that he's also probably one of the most breakable characters in the game. Like, even more breakable than, like, Lady. Which is probably kind of weird to consider for a lot of people, but yeah, 100%. He can become an absolute monster. He, Angorn, and Carrion are, like, the only characters who can, like, still run infinites in this game. Like, easily, I might add. Really? Well, we can't let this go off, so I guess we're going to just do something like that. We need to fight for our strong, or our capital after this. That was probably supposed to be a group heal, but I wanted to believe, and I was a fool. It's going to heal us 3. It's just so weird. Let's do something like this. It's going to hurt, but we need to get that damage on somebody who can actually, like, take it. Guess we can afford to do this. This is actually not going to make us much of anything. Guess we could get 2 Fury out of it if we played them both, but that's not really worth it at the moment. We can't really do this because that'll take off 3 for us. We actually need to keep that looking good. I guess we lose 4 health here. Like, that's just so rough. But yeah, generally speaking, like, your average Moze-Bjorn is probably, I won't say one of the weakest characters in the game, but he's certainly, like, under most of the other cast. But if you actually get, like, what he needs, he just becomes absolutely ludicrous. We're not going to do that. There we go. Let's get you in here to heal 2, at least, and then blap this man. Yo, I'm really feeling Infernal Shield, though, not gonna lie. It's a defensive option and gets him to his ultimate faster. So if we get here, fight this fight, and this is not a fight, we get access to our capital and we can go ahead and heal. Let's see what this is. I really don't grab this early usually, but Spike Club is pretty good. Especially on Bjorn. Once we get more AP, it means that we heal like a little bit more with his life leech, which is what we're looking for. We just want his life leech to be better than his reckless blow self-damage. So long as we do that, we're climbing above ourselves, and then it just becomes getting to the point to where we can mitigate most damage to where he's taking like little plink damage and then actually getting toughness on turns where we want him to have it. Lost Medallion is also another consideration, but I don't know who we would honestly put that on. I could see Leon. Lost Medallion on Leon right now would be pretty good. Again, just for that AoE shielding, giving Bjorn access to power. I feel like Spike Club definitely isn't the best thing that we could possibly do. I feel like Lost Medallion will eventually be better. But right now we just need like, yeah, okay, we got Woolen Boots. That's great. Woolen Boots is great, but we need to heal. But I'm glad to see this. We'll be coming back for that. What does this go up to? 28? Why are you so bad? Let's get Bjorn that. I think Leon is actually going to become our primary tank here. Oh dear lord. We're going to have to unearth this whole fucking thing, aren't we? Alright, let's put you on a place where you can actually, like, get life. And we're going to start with that, huh? Really how you going to treat me, game? After all I've done for you? Do you have any idea who I am? It helps. Get that out there. Get this out here. Very concerned. Okay, so you're shielding, so your next hit is going to be the Hex. I really don't think that we can eat that. That'll be 7, 8. Looks good to me. Go ahead, go with that. Save you an AP for next turn because I don't want a reckless blow at the moment. You're going to have access to your ultimate next turn. I don't know what that's going to do for you, though. Leon is a sad line. Oh, this is big. Here's how I feel that has to go. I'm going to pop you with that. Infernal Armor. 32 Death Blow, like this is the perfect hit here. That will kill? Did I miss that? It says 25 UPs. It is one less, though. I did math that wrong. That is... that's tragic. It's like 0.25 off. Like, come on, man. You really gonna do me like that? Now we actually do want to spend all this, because now we've got 4 AP for next turn. For what reason? Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. Um, good stuff. Another hamstring, maybe? I don't think so. Draw, like, unupgraded courage isn't really something that I'm feeling. We could possibly take Massacre, keep it in the pocket, because it could become something, especially if Leon's going to be our primary tank. We want to use our rage for something, but it's more of a question of what exactly we're going to use that rage on, or how we're going to build that rage then. Because at that point, we would pretty much have to use, like, solely Reckless Blows and self-damage, but we also want Life Leech, and then we could pay this out. It's a thing. I think that Massacre is very good when you're able to get to the point to where you're doing like nigh infinites and you're giving yourself like a crap ton of rage, right? Or you have like a leech setup so you can just keep going ahead and using Reckless Blows and you don't care, so you're just collecting all of it. You use another skill like Death's Door, or the one that just straight up gives you 4 rage or something like that for 1 self damage, and then you go ahead and pay out with this. That's a very good AoE. But otherwise, this is doing as much as Leon's Crusader Strike when you have 1 rage for an extra cost. It's not really impressive to me, like, by itself. We could make this work, though. We'll go ahead and we'll take this. Oh my good lord. I think we might be dead. I didn't consider a turn 1 hamstring. This is problematic. At least we're going to get the blind. We have 1 more turn until he decides to absolutely obliterate us. This week on Moze-Bjorn is pretty much going to absolutely neuter him, which is why we didn't want to put Black Blood Vial on him. I mean, that does something. Oh my good lord. And we have a defense battle after this. We didn't get anywhere that turn. That's incredibly spooky. Let's wait until we don't have... Well, I mean, he has vulnerable. But he's also blue. Oh man, this is so scuffed. Should definitely spend this. Like, I almost don't want you to take damage, but then the move would be to make somebody else take damage, and I don't think that we can afford that. God. Now he can't block this turn. This is going absolutely swell. You will have access to your ultimate, though. So here's how I feel. Not great. We're gonna go ahead, use Holy Bastion. How much damage do you have here? You have 24. And then you're gonna ult for like 32. Are you kidding me? Okay. We're just barely not gonna make it. Oh. Rough stuff is rough. And this is just falling apart. Good thing is, Moze-Bjorn has more health than he would have. I think we absolutely need a focus beam, except that it's purple damage. God damn it. We're in phase 2. There are more different types of enemies, but we almost need to figure out how the heck we're going to stay alive for 5 turns against a bunch of elites. Leon can't really taunt. Yeah, we're in a way here. I don't think we're going to get an Act 1 shard kill at this point, because all we're doing is hemorrhaging here. Defense Elite battle. The good thing about that is that if we somehow survive this Defense Elite battle, and for whatever frickin' reason this isn't a fight, we can easily afford 2 heals, but I honestly think that we just use the level to heal ourselves, which is very wasteful, and I'd prefer not to do it, but here we are. I almost feel like we need to do this as well, which is a little spookums, but just to have access to a better ultimate that might have power at the time. If that gets power, then it's up to 42 base damage. Oh, which is quite a bit, but not against elites. We need to put Black Blood Vial on somebody. I guess it's Leon. He just has to not deal any damage and stay alive. But we're going up against elites, and that's likely not going to happen. Maybe it was supposed to be Bjorn. It's 2 goblin looters. Well, if we somehow survive 2 goblin looter, 2 times 2 goblin looter ults. Oh man. And we have no shields here. I can't taunt on Anybody. I straight up cannot believe this. Like this was literally probably our worst hand. We almost can't even reckless blow. We need to save AP for heals. So that's what we're doing. And then everyone's going to be stuck where they're at. Someone's going to take an extra goblin looter. Pretty much what it has to be is this guy has to decide that he wants to murder Bjorn next turn or on the third turn. And that might give Leon enough time to actually get a hand. And we got to save AP for shields and hope that we don't draw all of them now. Okay. Okay. Well, it's been real. And now he's absolutely dead. The only thing I could think of... Wait, don't we gain the might right away? This should heal for 5? Even then, I can't swap into here because this guy's attacking. We're done. And they're red, so like it's not like this is going to do much of anything. Yeah, that first level was supposed to heal us. God. Are we able to look at the map? We probably were supposed to take another average fight, use that to heal, then get into town. Getting 2 goblin looters in a row though, or double goblin looters twice in a row. The only other thing I realized is that we did have the potion of swiftness. When Moze-Bjorn was sundered, like, what was it? Back when he died, right? He was sundered, so we weren't able to keep him alive. We could have used the swiftness potion on him to keep him alive. But he honestly, I believe, gained health off of that. I would have to look back and take a look. But I think that cost us quite a bit. Like maybe 3 health. That 3 health wouldn't have mattered here. Yeah, I think it was all in our pathing. We were probably just too worried in getting into the town to heal. And wanting that growth because we had 2 slow heroes in Bjorn and Moze-Bjorn. When we were supposed to just turtle because we have 2 heirlooms in our quests anyways. Anyways, that's a little upsetting. Hoping to be able to do another Arcanium run Wednesday, Friday, as per usual. Trying to get back into that sort of thing. If you have any feedback whatsoever, be it questions, concerns, comments, misplay alerts, be sure to leave that down in the comments below. And until next time, I'll catch you guys around.